Fantastic. So, I'm Bridget Hom, and my exciting adventure is called Bridge to Freedom Coaching. And as a fellow health professional, I want to do a quick discovery session with you all. And before we get to that, I want to just recenter and refocus on why we're all here today. And because, as Michael said, we're not another networking group. And when we come here, we, get ready, put on the mindset that you're going to give to someone in some way, and you're going to receive from someone in this group in some way. And so the goal for us as health professionals, we get to give, other networking groups, it's all about the referrals and sharing who we are. But what if, like today for me as a freedom coach, we're going to do a quick discovery session. We're going to do a Q&A on limiting beliefs. We're going to really step into who we want to be today based on what our choices are. What relationships are we experiencing right now? How are they going? And so every week we get together, someone will give maybe Dr. Mark will say, hey, I'm doing this cool thing in my office. I'd like you to come and experience it and tell us a little bit about how it's helped someone who's come into his office, his clients, or maybe Clinton will say, hey, I'd like to offer, someone in this group this week a session where I can do an exercise session with them. And you can really, feel what I do, and you can be empowered to go and share this with someone else. So we want to create those engaging experiences when we have one-on-ones with each other. And then in this group, we want to share tips. We want to share what's worked for you and who you are in your business. So it's a little different than just another networking group. We really want to pour into each other. And maybe Dennis will do a hypnosis session for us at one point, because that's what it's all about. We're going to be real. We want to be creative. We want to feel, your humanity in who you're being in this time. I don't want to just hear about your business. I want to know who you are, so today, maybe if you want to just sit and relax and hear these questions and then ponder them for yourselves, you can do that. Or maybe if you want to write them down, we can do that. But I'm going to do something with you that I thoroughly enjoy, for especially in the middle of the workday. I want us to all do something called a brain dump. And so if you have a pen and paper, excellent. I don't want you to use a pencil. You can't erase, no erasing. Take a pen and paper, and just for 2 minutes, you're going to stream of consciousness write.
Stream of consciousness, just right.
Yep, exactly.
Just whatever's on our mind.
Just start writing.
Okay.
I'm watching the clock, so you don't have to, Ellen. and start to wrap it up. I'm waiting to see eyes. Okay. So did anyone see something about themselves that they weren't expecting to see? Did anyone have any little revelation about their day or what they're experiencing right now that they'd like to share? Go ahead, just jump in.
Well, I would
Sure.
Bridget, that I'm just excited for new things that are coming in, but they're just kind of flooding on top of me. It's like I'm swimming. I can't got to swim fast enough, but it's the old being flushed away kind of and the new coming in. So that on top of like just random thoughts of, hey, I can't wait to see my family tonight and be together and just explore it and put it out there, not hold back anymore. You know, those kind of feelings, put those feelings out there. I think that you just brought that out in the last 2 minutes from this exercise.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Michael.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else maybe had a moment of contrast? Dennis, yes.
I have a difficulty which I'll express. My mind likes to go outside the box and wander at times when people are talking, but you have my full attention. It's just I get these little bubbles of concepts. And I had one as you were talking, Bridget, and I compared it to a builder building a house. And he has to have a plan to start with, a diagram. But he also has to have a toolbox and a vision of what he's wishing to accomplish. So the plan details many of the features of the house that he's going to build, but he also knows that he's going to run into unknown problems, which requires flexibility. The house cannot be built with just a hammer. It requires saws, squares, and a whole realm of tools in order to make that happen. But then the final result of his vision is that it comes to reality and he looks at that final product as a result of putting all these things together. And so my analogy with this group is we have a vision of what we want to build. Have we laid out the plan yet? No, but I think that will happen. And I see all the tools and all the resources that it takes in order to end up with something that I think is going to be magnificent, and it'll be our reality of all our vision together.
I love that. I love that. We're all pieces of each other's health. And would anyone else? Yeah.
Yes. Can I ask what was on Ellen's list? What did you write down? I can't hear you. You're muted. There you go.
Okay. What was on my list was I'm always thinking about what I need to do next. I'm not present enough. I'm always looking for the off the checklist. And is this what I'm doing right now? Is this being productive enough for what I need to be doing? So therefore, I need to have a different mindset. My mindset has got to be completely different. Now, you really wanted to know, I'm telling you.
Well,
so my mindset is, everything is just so new. So to sit and to really kind of talk, and I'm not used to that. I'm not used to just kind of sitting and hanging and sharing with people. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's going on? Okay, good. Let's go on to the next thing. So he's laughing because he knows. So I've really been appreciative of the opportunity to sit and be present, because I have not been present in, I can't tell you how many years of my life, because I'm always thinking about what I need to do next. I'm doing something and then something else needs to be done, and I need to be more present. That's all.
And when that's
May
right.
I ask Ellen a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever taken the Myers-Briggs test that tells you? I'm sorry? Are you familiar with the
personality
Myers-Briggs
test?
test?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I've taken a personality test, and somebody has given me back the results, and it's very interesting.
Do you remember what your results were?
Not exactly. I couldn't tell you if I could go look.
Okay.
Dr. Jack does that. That's what he just
He
did
wants
for
to
me.
do.
Oh, does he?
I'm like,
I feel like most of us are very interested in figuring out who we are and our personalities and how we make our decisions. That's just who we are, you know? And
Yeah.
so, Ellen, I wanted to actually ask you a question as well. So, when you're being present, when you actually slowed down, what did that do for you?
Very interesting question, because it does it doesn't allow me to enjoy to be present, and because I've always worked 75 hours a week in a nonstop business, so this has given me a whole different outlook of defining who not who I am, but giving me an opportunity to think about who I am. Does that make sense?
Sure, to think about who you're being when you're working and when you're.
There is a
That
technique.
a
There's a
very
technique.
interesting point that I addressed when I was talking earlier about being present to be productive, to be profitable. And it sounds to me, Ellen, like you might need some chiropractic care to help you bring that all in alignment.
Maybe you guys.
Words.
Maybe you guys can do a one-on-one, and maybe you can show Ellen some techniques that might serve her and help her to.
There is a technique called PMA, present moment awareness, that on 1 week I could do it with everybody. Literally takes 5-6 minutes, and it teaches you a technique where you can literally within just a minute or two teach yourself how to get into a moment of awareness.
Deal, Dr. Mark. Thank you for that. 100%. That's exactly, and that's why we're here. That is why we're here, because when we are well, we will be able to serve our clients well. When we are well, we will be able to serve our clients well. And so that is the goal, because I ask myself, what is the goal all the time? What is the goal? The goal of this group is for us to pour into each other like that, so that when we step away in just 1 hour, we come away feeling refreshed and ready to serve the people in our lives, the clients that are brought into our lives. So anyone else want to share about their 2 minutes of brain dumping?
Yeah, I'll be willing to share. I was cleaning up my office probably 2 days ago and came across this sheet, which was a daily sheet of all of my goals that I used years ago. And Brian, yes, there is a big chiropractic affirmation on here that I created similar to what you had shared. But not thinking about this when you propose the little exercise, what I did write down is that for years we wrote our goals, and in the last, not just since the COVID situation, but probably in the last year, kind of got away from the goals and kind of got too focused on, like Ellen said, things we have to do and the next thing and the checklists. And so in pulling this sheet out was a reminder, and then this served as another reminder that need to get back to our personal goals, professional, relationship goals and all of that.
So you were reminded that you would like to start setting goals. Are there any goals personally and professionally that you'd like to share with us that you'd like to set up for yourself?
I mean, there are a lot. There are a lot, and definitely be willing to share, in the future. Like just as we were brain dumping, I'm going, all right, I need to sit down and refocus my goals again. But it does revolve. My biggest goal right now, I've been practicing for 30 years. We have 4 doctors in the office. You know the office, Bridget.
Yes.
And my focus is to move into what's called phase 2 of practice, which is where I'm managing. I'm home today on a Friday, and I'm managing the practice from here today. Literally, I have my office talking to me on this computer. So that's my main goal right now, is to continue to serve our patients, continue to do a great job with our patients, but me not having to be there every single day like I've been for the last 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's wonderful awareness. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
That's awesome. Yes, please share.
I'd like to share too, because the interesting thing that came out for me is this is the, I think, third call that I've been on today. And the previous two were one-on-ones, which is where I really make a big difference. I was also on one last night that was a more social event, and as opposed to networking, it wasn't business. And what I'm discovering, and what really came out in my stream of consciousness dump, is that as much as all of us are here today trying to grow our businesses and get better at what we are, and so that when we are well, we're able to better serve our clients. And I understand that. But what I really recognized in my brain dump is how afraid the community is. I was talking to all these people last night, and their church is now open, and they're deciding whether or not they want to go because they're so afraid to go outside their homes. And Dr. Mark will attest to this, and others who are in the healthcare industry. We don't need to be afraid. The media has put up so much fear that people don't realize that they're healthy. You can go out. You can go to the beach and not wear a mask. You can walk on the sidewalk and not wear a mask. We're not going to catch this virus from being outside. And the challenge we have now is to educate people to realize, to undo what the media has done. Yep. And get people back into living their lives, because they have destroyed people's lives by making them go inside. It's the worst thing that could have happened. And we need to now figure out how to bring them back outside, bring them back into the community, get them coming together as people in person, not on Zoom. This is great right now, but we need to be in person. Mm-hmm. And that's really what came out to me, is that we need to figure out how to really communicate this. And I think as healthcare professionals, if we can all start spreading this message, we're going to reach more people than if one person does it.
That's an excellent awareness. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's true. And I just wrote a post recently about it's time to break up. And it's time to break up with fear. And because the choices that you make when you're in a relationship with fear don't serve you. And then literally you're cheating on your normal relationships with your spouse. You're cheating on your relationships with, good relationship with food. Because your main relationship is your relationship with fear. And so what does that breakup look like for you? And, asking the questions to the people to help pull them out, because we all see people all the time. And so figuring out a way to address that, like Dr. Carolyn said, would really serve us in our profession, because that would give the clients that we're working with an extra awareness attached to working with us in our relationship. We are helping them to break free, and it will help our community at large, while reinforcing for ourselves there's nothing to be afraid of, and so that was very valuable. Thank you for sharing that.
The old adage is fear stands for false evidence appears real.
Right. Excellent. Hey, Bridget, thanks so much. We're running short on time, so I wanted to transition, unless you want to add anything to close off the...
If she could, to just kind of wrap that up. Because I started off with a to-do list, because the reason I asked what Ellen was doing is because I figured it would be the same thing. But then I went into, started thinking about, I've got to do a training tomorrow, and I came up with an acronym for, in other words, I started off as very to-do work, like Ellen, and it went a little bit more creative, when I got away from that. Is that the purpose of the brain? I've never done that before.
Oh, fantastic. I'll share briefly. So the purpose of the brain dump is to see where you're at and who you're being right in this moment. It's to slow down and to really see yourself. That's exactly the purpose. Okay. So yeah, you move from the to-do list to maybe something else that you want to be experiencing, and then seeing yourself as you are. And then you can actually build on that platform. Does that make sense?
It was like a mini breakthrough. Right in front of your eyes.
The goal. That is the goal. Absolutely. I'm glad that you experienced that. So awesome.